Hello there, everybody, and welcome to another exciting and amazing edition of the Ask Dr. Jack Show. I am Dr. Jack Belitz, chiropractor in Omaha.
Hello, everybody. I'm Aaliyah, Dr. Jack's assistant.
What is our topic?
So today we're talking about how important it is, the mind-body connection, and how important it is to have an awareness of what's going on with yourself internally, and to really know yourself and be able to figure out if you have a problem when it's small, as opposed to waiting to find the problem until it's big.
So the mind-body connection is really interesting because, there's anecdotal evidence that this is definitely there. Like, for instance, I am sure that if you are an athlete or have played athletic sports in any capacity in your life, if you were depressed one day because something really major happened, you did not probably perform to the same level as you did when you were super happy and super excited. So everybody has experienced that in their day.
Well, and they even say, there's medical research that shows there's higher cancer survival rates with people that, have faith and close family and things like that. And those are all emotional connections that help your body physically.
That's right. And for instance, there's lots of research that are done with people in cancer, and they have to go home and watch comedies. And that's all they do, is just watch comedies and make themselves laugh, and they actually recover at a much better rate than people that don't do that, or the average person, I guess, is a better way to put it.
Right.
So we know that there's this connection here, but the problem is, how do you prove it? What is the difference? A lot of people have said that there's a vibrational shift in the body, and this is where it gets really funky and whatever, but it's basically the things that make up the neutrons and electrons and protons vibrate at a certain frequency, and depending on the frequency that's being emitted is how you feel that day, and how you feel that day also corresponds to how good your athletic performance is, or how good your digestive system is working, or how good anything is. Again, how do you prove that? We can't even see a neutron or proton, much less the things that make them up.
Right, but some frequencies can be measured off of our bodies. Like, they can measure certain forms of energy that we emit. So we have some proof there. It's not quite the same, but it is similar. We know our bodies are emitting energy. Vibrations kind of go hand in hand.
Exactly, yeah. So anyway, but there is definitely a difference. So if you are dealing with
Anything?
Anything, yes. Do a self-check as to how you're doing emotionally. Are you, focusing or obsessing on some aspect of your of a relationship with somebody, or an event that's happening in your life, or whatever? If that's the case, you need to shift that. The best way to shift that is by doing some journaling. Because if you do that, you're taking this thought from the etherical, from the thought process, and putting it into the physical by writing it down. Now, I'm not talking about writing it down by typing on a keypad. Actually, literally get a pen out and write it down. I don't know why this works. Neither does anybody else, but it does shift the way you start perceiving that particular problem, and the way your brain starts to wrap its head around how you perceive it. And so that's just one quick example. Another thing that you can do is make sure you get plenty of aerobic exercise, because aerobic exercise, again, helps shift that brain, opens up, gets more oxygen in, does a lot of things, and it helps you handle the mental, emotional stress a lot better. So those are just a couple of things that you can do. Find a good friend and talk. Now, talk productively. Don't just sit there and crab and moan about what's going on in your life more than once or twice. If you do that, you need to feel sorry for something that's happening in your life once or twice. But on the third time, you've got to say, okay, what's positive going on in your life?
Yeah, that's what I was going to actually bring up, is what you say and how you say things really, really matter. And just changing a word or two in something can really shift how you feel about it, how you're perceiving it, and make things easier or less, or that was a big thing with depression in me, like changing my thought process on certain things. And in order to change my thought process, I changed how I talked about it.
Exactly. One more thing that can be a very big help is a very a special technique called network spinal analysis. It's a chiropractic technique. And this will literally shift the way your brain starts seeing reality because it affects how the brain, how the spinal cord talks to the brain. And everything kind of starts to shift, and you literally do. You start seeing things in a different way. Things that used to stress you out really started to shift. Aaliyah's a prime example of this. You know, it made a big difference in her life when she started getting that work. And when she had that extra little boost, she was able to take her own personal abilities of overcoming stuff and just raise them up to a whole nother level because her brain was able to focus in a little bit different way.
Yeah, it was crazy. We've seen it with a couple of patients that have come in with like anxiety and depression, and they start getting adjusted. And I know it happened to me too. Like, you just start crying, and there wasn't necessarily something specific that I was crying about at that moment, but I was having just these floods of emotions that were apparently suppressed inside of me, that when I started getting adjusted every once in a while, I'd just tear up and just get it out. And
but then the end result was she started seeing things differently.
Right.
You know, she wasn't having these knee-jerk reactions to little things
it was
that were
productive crying. It was good crying.
Yeah, it did, because it literally clears out that emotional crap that's in there. So anyway, those are some amazing things that you can do with the use of the whole mind-body connection, because it's incredibly powerful. So be happy, journal, network spinal analysis. Other than that, hope you guys like this. Share this with everybody that can come in contact. And
please don't forget to comment below.
Comment.
And
Stay healthy, Omaha.